welcome. So it's been a while since I made any videos on here to tell you guys what I've been up to. Been terrible about getting my blog keeping it up to date. I'm gonna see if I can't do a little bit better, but no promises. Okay, guys. So over the past couple of years, I've been very busy, as you can imagine, on a lot of different projects. I've been building some stuff that I see on learn.adafruit.com. One of them I have here is the little Pi Girl 2. Thinking about since the Raspberry Pi 3 came out, to actually maybe put one of those in there. I'm sure it'd be a lot better. But I got another project I've been working on for a little while. Is since they came out with the touch screen for the Raspberry Pi, is a Raspberry Pi tablet. Some people would say, well, that seems kind of crazy because it's kind of big. It's not nearly as capable as anything out there that's commercial. But what I like is I'd be able to take it around and do demos by connecting devices up to it. That's my intent. The Adafruit one that they have, that Nolan Pedro put together, they don't bring out the GPIO ports, and actually I was kind of considering doing that on the Raspberry Pi Girl, or the Pi Girl 2, but the way it's set up is like, well, it's already kind of big. I'm trying to really did this to try to get the kids to start learning how to program, write their own games and stuff, but so it wasn't so important on here. But the tablet, that's for me. Yes, I want the GPIO on it. I also have got one of the Pi Tops, and I plan on making some cards to plug into that. They did a nice job with that, so I want to see if I can make that a little bit more useful. But my latest project, if you've been looking at the blog that I have on there, is my daughter has a science project that she wants to do. She wants to grow bread mold and monitor the growth of the mold over different environments. So one of the things I told her is it would be really nice to have something to collect the data for the temperature, humidity, and the amount of light that's hitting the bread and the mold, to see if that has any impact on it, or draw some conclusions from that. So I created some little sensors here. I built 9 of them because my intent was in each environment maybe you have 3 of them, so you can average out what the temperature, humidity, and the light levels are. So I did that. I hooked up to Raspberry Pi. I didn't expect all 9 to be able to connect them, and the reason is I'm using 4 conductor audio cables to connect them, and the shortest length that you can buy those is 3.5 feet. So as you imagine, it would get quite long. I2C is not for long distance communications. So I was actually surprised I was able to get 3 of these devices working, which is pretty impressive, I think. Over 10.5 feet or so, roughly around 3 meters, which is pretty good, I think. But I was able to get that done. Now these sensors, each one has a AT-Tiny85 in them that are programmed to listen to as slave devices and report back what the temperature, humidity, and light levels are. Also put another little bit of code in here to hold a model number and a version number, although that's not terribly important, but it did come out quite useful because you need to be able to detect when there's errors on the reads. So just by saying, oh, is it a number or not, is not really good enough. So by reading the string out for the model number, I'm able to tell if it's actually valid, because I know what that should be. So I go ahead and I get the temperature, get the humidity, get the light level, then I ask, what's your model number? And then if the model number doesn't match, then I know that there's a problem, and I discard all the data on that read, and I won't save it to the SD card, and I won't transmit it up to Adafruit IO. So that's working out pretty good. I've got 3 sensors. There's one up here you might be able to see, another one back there, and there's another one off camera over here that have been running for quite a while. Let me excuse me. I am still, one of the reasons I'm making this video too, I'm sorry, is that I'm testing out some software for creating videos, so I'm hopefully can cut down video production time, which has been a big hindrance for me to do this. So let me try something out here. So I'm going to switch over and let me bring up Chrome, and I am going to go to io.adafruit.com/richteal, and you'll be able to see the dashboard. There we go. There. Okay. So I've had this running for, and I can tell here, 1, 2, oh yeah, that's right, it wasn't 3. So this is the 4th day, so it's been almost 4 days that it's been running, and I've had only a few hiccups on this. But what's nice about this is it actually recovers when it has problems, which before I wasn't able to do. And I guess, once again, I should apologize because I'm not telling you exactly what the problems were and why it's kind of impressive that I was actually able to get this done, or in my opinion it's impressive, is that when I first did this, I was trying to use the Raspberry Pi's I2C hardware to communicate directly to the sensors, but I had a problem with that in that these guys are an AT Tiny 85. They don't have any hardware I2C control on them, so everything has to be done in software. When you do that, especially on a tiny microprocessor, this is running at 8 megahertz internal clock, you get clock stretching from time to time. When that happens, there's a bug on the Raspberry Pi's hardware where it will miss the clock stretching, and it just throws the whole bus into a disarray, and it will never recover. So it would run along for 5-6 reads or so, and then it would bomb out. I was able to get that so it ran pretty reasonably, actually over a period of like 5 days without any hiccups, with one sensor. As soon as I connected another sensor, all gone. So I went ahead and used the, I was reading a lot about this problem. It's well documented if you do some searches on the internet. And what I found is that it's possible to bit bang, and there's actually a good library that was put together called Pi GPIO. I was able to go and use that library. It took a lot of searching, a lot of research to figure out actually how to bit bang I2C on there. There wasn't a whole lot of examples, but I found one excellent example that a user put on a post. I was able to take that and implement it. That worked well, but then I ran into another problem that the library that the gentleman was using, or madam, I don't know, it required you to run it as root. Well, I can't not do that because I use a cron job to periodically, every 5 minutes, it's taking and reading the temperature, light, humidity, and light readings and sending them up to the Adafruit IO here, and you just can't do that with if you need to run this root. So well, maybe you can, but maybe I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Well, there's a better solution, and it was just a different library that was in the GPI or the Pi GPIO package. So I was able to switch to another one. You have to run a daemon to actually interact with the GPIO ports. Once I got that all set up and running, everything ran like a champ. I tested out hooking up, several different devices. Once I got over 3, funky things started happening. Sometimes stuff would work, sometimes all but one sensor would work. But it more than met my expectations for what I needed to do, so I just left it be. Now, one of the nice things is I could actually, if I want to get online devices, connect to a Raspberry Pi, I can, because since it's being Bitfang, I can use any of the other GPIO ports as well. Pins. So I could actually hook up 2 more I2C buses to the Raspberry Pi and be able to run all of them at the same time and be able to read from all the sensors. So awesome job, guys. Thank you for that library, and that it worked out wonderfully. So I'm documenting on the blog all about how I got this all set up, and I've got one crucial piece of information that's missing, and that's on the connections to the Raspberry Pi itself. But if you look at software through the code, you can easily see that I'm connecting to the standard I2C pins on the GPIO bus. And I have also 9 LEDs that are connected. You don't need those. I just put those on as a nice indicator. When the time is rolling around to the 5-minute mark, I can look and I can see it reading the first sensor, the second sensor, the third sensor. And if I had more sensors, I would use the other ones. But everything's been working great, as you can see. And like I said, I've only missed a few times, and it's started getting wonky only since yesterday. But like I said, actually it recovers each and every time, which is nice. So, for example, yesterday it failed twice for all sensors. Today it actually failed this morning, and that is kind of strange because I have 4 emails come in. Looks like it tried to recover twice or something. Maybe it just resent the emails again. Yes, that's what it must have done. Did it again at 4:15, 7:15, 8:30, 11:50, and 12:05. Since then, it's been running fine. So I don't know what happened at those times. But the interesting thing is it actually recovered itself and was able to get the next readings. So I can't really ask for much more. It's working great. So this is going to be a great tool for my daughter to use on her science project. But that's it. So, and if you guys have any ideas for projects that I could work on, or things that you think would be helpful, let me know, and I may take them up and see what I can do with them. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this like Ben Heck does on his show, or Lemar Freed does on Hereda Fruit, or even Davy Jones in Australia on his blog. Just because I've got a full-time job, I've also volunteer in the community and a couple of things. So I don't really have a whole lot of spare time to devote to this, but I do want to actually start producing some products and stuff, and open up a store here on the web. That's the whole reason, one of the reasons why I'm doing all this stuff. But this is really the stuff I love. My day job I like, but I don't love it as much. So this is where I've always had fun, working with hardware and developing things. So it's an exciting time to be doing this over the past like 4 or 5 years. This whole maker community thing's really been expanding, and I'm excited about it. Kind of late, but I've been trying to get into it. But we'll see if I can go anywhere with it. But if anybody's got any ideas, please feel free to comment on the videos or the blog. I appreciate it. Thank you.